Hey, it's me, Jeff, the SP Spaz, back again for another exciting video. And last time I talked about the specific diet that I used in order to reach my original weight loss goal, which back in November 9th, 2017, to be exact, I weighed 252.6 pounds, and I had downloaded an app that was a weight tracker called My Weight HD. Um, it just happened to be a free weight tracker there wasn't anything in particular special about that one that I was looking for. It just happened to be the one I got and still have and use today. Anyway, I set as my original goal getting to 200 pounds. At that time, that seemed like a far off dream. I hadn't been 200 pounds basically since around 19 or 20 years old. And let's see, I have to think back. I'm 43 years old now, so 2017 November, that was, it would have been 41. Anyway, so at age 41, basically I was thinking like 20 years in the past, like Kenny Rogers says, 20 years ago, was the last time, even earlier than that I was 200 pounds or less. If you watch my video called The Growing, the first part of my body transformation series, I talked about kind of how I ate when I was a kid and teenager, young adult. And also probably somewhere in there or the next video, I talked about how when I got my first car and got a job at Long John Silver's, and so I was eating fried food every day and I wasn't walking or biking places anymore, I was driving, and the combination of those things, that's where I went over 200 pounds, and I never went back until July of 2018. So from November 2017 to July of 2018, I lost more than 52.6 pounds, which if you, I'll link the playlist for the Body Transformation series, my Fit Friday playlist. You can kind of follow the story if you want of how I did that. But I thought what I'd do in this video is I said last time I was going to talk about the, diet break that I took after doing that, but I'm actually going to talk about that in the next video, because I think that this is enough of a subject on it in itself to talk about how I felt when I finally reached that goal, because, I don't want to gloss over that. It's been a while now, so it's kind of like I've moved on with my life and done other things, but I participate in a lot of Facebook groups about dieting and weight loss, various forms. I'm in alternate day fasting groups. I'm in keto and fasting groups. I'm in just fasting groups in general. I'm in paleo groups, carnivore groups, Weight Watchers groups, a bunch of different Facebook groups around that subject. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos related to that, and from all sorts of perspectives, for people doing all sorts of different diets or ways of eating, different approaches and different workouts and things like that. So a lot of different stuff that I consume that's all in that same kind of arena. And because of that, I see a lot of people who are either struggling with weight loss, or they're just getting started. They're looking for advice or tips, or they're kind of or they've hit a plateau, or they're just, in general, they're kind of looking for inspiration or something. And I try to, when I encounter those people and when they ask for it, to talk about things like, not just how I lost weight, but also some of the, benefits and how I felt when I actually did it, because that in itself is something. People can sometimes look at pictures and say, oh, this is before and after pictures, and be inspired by something like that. Oh, wow, this amazing, this person was able to do this. And pictures are great, sometimes. One thing, being in these groups with a lot of females, I have to say myself that the drawback to me giving advice to females about weight loss is usually when they have the before and after pictures of women that have lost a bunch of weight. I usually thought they looked better in the before picture. Not always, but a lot of times, what can I say? I guess I find women attractive that have a little bit more on them. That's just my personal viewpoint. But anyway, but I guess there's more people that post methods and pictures than there are people who really talk about like how they feel about it. It's not that nobody does, of course, but I think sometimes that's kind of overlooked. Even if people talk about like medical benefits and stuff. Uh, so, so I wanted to talk about that in a couple different ways, both how I felt physically and kind of mentally, just my feelings about it, and not for a long time. I don't plan to make this a really long video. But first of all, the day that I finally reached my goal, where I actually uh, so I'm gonna have to. I had pulled up my weight tracker app, but then I realized that I actually have to switch over to the other profile because I um I actually made a different profile. Um, because what I was originally doing was I would only record my weight in the tracker if I had lost since the last time I weighed, uh, because I felt like that it would be discouraging to me if I saw, a gain on there, like a higher number. So I didn't want to put it. Eventually, but it wasn't until I was almost at my goal, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and record it, regardless of whether or not that happened. So, ooh, excuse me. So in the Way Tracker app that I was, in the profile I was originally looking at here when I was about to talk about it, the date was actually a different date. The one I was weighing every day was different than the one where I would only record it if it was a loss. So it was actually July 24th, 2018. Where I first went under 200 pounds. And when I say I mean, obviously I don't know the exact minute where that happened, but what I do is I weigh myself every day. First thing in the morning, I get up, I use the bathroom, and then I go in the kitchen and I take my clothes off and I weigh myself. And so it's usually around the same time of day. And, like I said, without clothes and same scale, same placement, so that kind of part of it is consistent. And so that first thing in the morning, Tuesday, July 24th, 2018, I weighed myself and I was at 198.8. And I took a picture of the scale saying that, and actually posted it on my Facebook page that day because I was proud of it. And I know to some people that probably would seem silly, that I would be proud of reaching a weight that wasn't even like the weight recommended for my height, age, etc. The BMI was still high, I was still overweight or whatever. But when you consider where I started from, and I've actually been heavier than 252 in my life. The highest I remember ever seeing on the scale was like 256 or 258, somewhere in there. But there were times I was probably even more than that now where I just wasn't weighing myself. I just don't know for sure. But anyway, even just thinking about it from where I started in November 2017, when I started getting serious about losing the weight and getting in better shape and all that, that was 53, whatever. I'm not going to do the math. 53 point something pounds to get to 198.8. And by the way, the day before it was 201, so that was actually a drop of 2.2 pounds from the previous day. And if you didn't watch my previous video about the pure protein diet, that's what I was doing at the time too. So I was dropping the weight, not super rapidly, but like in 5 weeks I had dropped, like I went from 206.8 on July 1st. So basically, 23 days, I dropped, what's that, 8 pounds. So again, that doesn't sound like a huge amount, but when you consider that, it had, I had kind of hit a plateau and was trying to like kind of bust through that. So that was sort of the extreme diet I did to do that. So yeah, I reached that, and I didn't actually stop doing it at that point because I had set my goal, of reaching the under 200 pounds by my birthday that year. My birthday is August 6th. So, a part of me, sure, was probably like, oh, um, I should take a diet break like as soon as I hit this goal. Another part was like, no, I'd rather have like my birthday week to be when I did that, because I was gonna, go visit my family and do whatever. I didn't want to worry about what I was eating or anything. Just, be able to celebrate and have fun and eat whatever I wanted then. So I said, well, I'm not going to start that now. I don't want to get off track and have gained, 10, 15 pounds by the time my birthday week was over. So, um, so I kept going, and so I actually had gotten down. By August 3rd was when, I went out of town for my birthday, because my birthday was on the Monday the 6th. So actually the low point I had reached was 196.6 before I took my little diet break. But anyway, so of course I was proud to hit that mark, and I started to think about just the other things involved other than just the weight loss, because like I've said before, like weight itself, pounds, kilograms, whatever it is just a number. That in itself doesn't have some kind of profound meaning or anything. So what does it actually mean? What did I feel like? Well, for one thing, I thought about how basically on work days, there were some givens that for a while for me, that even after I started taking blood pressure medication and heart rate medication, that reduced the like terrible migraines I was having on a regular basis, because of having the elevated blood pressure and so that was really causing pain. Even after that, after several years of being on the medication, it was still a very regular thing for me to have headaches and heartburn and intestinal digestive problems. Like those things were just sort of a daily part of my life. And even at the time I decided I needed to get serious about losing more weight, I really was not even thinking. I did think, yes, I'd like to get off the blood pressure medication eventually, but I wasn't even thinking about like, well, these other aspects were going to improve that much. And it's an interesting time for me to talk about this, because recently I've been getting some headaches again, but I think a lot of that is really due to some stress related things and less to do with, my diet or anything like that. But there were several physical effects of losing that much weight, and losing that much fat, and other than just how I looked. And one of them was the heartburn and the headaches were no longer a daily thing. And to illustrate that, I have the same bottle of heartburn medication, this, the Walgreens version of Zantac. I think it's called Walzan. It's still in a bag that I have like my medications and supplements and stuff in that I take to work. And I have that same bottle that's, expired by now, because that's how long it's been since I had to take a heartburn pill. Now I took it a couple of times anyway, because I had a certain other things that were going on that I thought, well, maybe it's acid related. Some people suggested that, so I went ahead and tried that. In terms of the actual like daily heartburn I used to get, I haven't had that in a long time now. And the headaches that I would get, like I said, recently I've had some again, but it's a different kind. It's not the same kind of headache that I got before. And the intestinal issues, like I always joked about old man's digestive system. I still have some issues, but it's not to the extent that I used to have, where I used to be like, making jokes about the when am I going to get Depends kind of thing, because basically there were times where I would turn down certain offers to do things because I would think, well, I'm not going to have enough ready access to a bathroom. I mean, that was one of the things I had to consider, when I thought about this thing. As sad as that sounds, that was just a regular thing. So yeah, that, and it's another one that sounds kind of silly, but it improves lives, is flatulence. I had an issue with that, and that went away after, it was like little things like that don't sound like much, But then when you talk about just the overall discomfort and everything that those things cause, um, it feels a lot better now in general. I said I have aches and pains, or even as I'm recording this, my lower back hurts a little bit. So it's not like I have a completely pain and discomfort free life. I'm not trying to say that, but all of those areas were improved. Like another one, and this has been a big issue recently. Here, as I record this in May 2020, most places in the world will know what I'm talking about when I say that immune system health has been a big issue lately. And I know that my immune system is better than it was in 2017 when I started the body transformation. I know it is. And one factor that is the last time I really got sick, like to the point where I actually had to miss work and so was December of 2018. So it's, been like a year and a half or something like that since I've had to miss work being sick. And there's been a few times where it felt like I was coming down with something, but here's the kicker. It felt like my immune system fought it off, whatever it was. It was like it bothered me for a period, but it was even less than a day, and then it was like it felt like I was coming down with something, and then it fought it, and then it was gone. And I'm the kind of person who used to get, like, when I would get ill, an actual infection or virus, whatever I'd come down with, it would knock me out for weeks sometimes, and even when I was over like the main symptoms of it, the energy would take so long to get back. It would take me a while to recover, where it just like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm slowly building back up to having energy, where I would just feel so dead tired every day. And so that kind of thing is so much better now. So it didn't just feel good to see a number on a scale and, of course, later on continue to drop that number on the scale, but also for those other kind of physical symptoms. And, there's more confidence. I still, when I do these videos and I see myself on camera, I still sit there and pick at myself and the things that I don't like about the way I look. That hasn't gone away. There is still, I've never been somebody with a high self-esteem in my life, and I've talked about that in many other videos. My self-confidence is like very thin, and those kind of issues are always right below the surface. But just having the confidence enough to make videos again and do these kind of things, like I wouldn't have had that. I didn't have that until I dropped a lot of the weight and I looked better, and I just, felt like I had this confidence and enough of self-esteem that I felt like I could even do something like this and not just be feel like embarrassed or just disgusted with myself looking at myself. So a lot of things like that are factors also. And I've already hit the 18-minute mark, which is longer than I intended to go. So I'm not going to talk more in this one. But another thing that some people have asked is like whether losing a bunch of weight makes you a different person. And I keep saying I'm going to address that, and I am going to. It's kind of its own video, so I'm going to talk about that in the not too distant future. It may not be the next video, but anyway, hopefully this told you a little bit about how it felt when I hit my weight loss goal. If you're somebody that is trying to lose weight, trying to hit that goal, and you haven't got there yet, keep at it, hang in there. There's a lot of different ways to do it. If you want to know more specifics on how I did things, I've talked a lot about that in these videos, but if there's specific questions that you want to ask me about anything, just leave it in the comment down below, or send me a message in any other way. You can check out my Twitter or Facebook, then I'll put the links too. Put the links in the description for every video, and anything else I think of that I'll try to put a link to. So anyway, thanks a lot again for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do that. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video with anybody you think could benefit from it, and hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.